This video is going to talk about solving problems with guess and check tables. Now, guess and check tables are a problem-solving strategy that we can use to solve complex word problems. In class today, we took a look at the apartment problem in our textbook, and it required a lot of steps and a lot of guessing and checking. And we need to have a nice, organized way to keep track of our guesses so that we don't keep guessing the same things over and over again. That's where these tables can come in handy. Let's take a look at the setup of a guess and check table. Now, the first thing to know is that the first column of the table will always be your guess, the thing you're guessing. Now, when you try to decide what thing you're guessing, it's going to be the thing that you're trying to find out. So, what you're trying to figure out, what you want to know. Your guess will be what you want to know. The last column of your guess and check table will be your check. Now, your check will help you figure out how to make your next guess. The second to last column in your guess and check table will be what you know, what information you're told. And then that's what you're going to use for your check. And all these other ones in between are just going to have some work, and depending on the number of columns will depend on the word problem. So the first column's our guess, the last column's our check, and the second to last column is what we know, and that's what we'll check. Now, the other thing I want to point out is that we always want to end our guess and check tables in a complete sentence to answer the question, and our sentence should answer the question. Your sentence should always be complete, and it should answer the question. So let's go ahead and take a look at an example. In this example, our word problem is the product of two numbers is 126. One number is 5 more than the other number, and we want to find the two numbers. Now remember, I like to start kind of working backwards, and I know that the thing that I'm told is my check, and I'm told the product of two numbers is 126. So 126 is going to be my check. And what do I want to be 126? I want the product to be 126. Now, the first column is going to be my guess. Since I'm trying to find the two numbers, my guess will be the first number, and then my work will be to come up with the second number. And once I have the first and second number, I can find the product and then check my answer. So let's go ahead and make a guess. So now when you're making your guesses, it's really just that. It's a guess. Especially the first time around, it's just an educated guess. So I'm going to go ahead and guess 10. 10 will be my first number. Now if we go back to the word problem, notice it says one of the numbers is 5 more than the other. Remember, more than would be to add 5. So to get my second number, I'm going to take my first number and add 5. And I get a total of 15. I'm looking for the product of these two numbers, so I'll go ahead and multiply them. 10 times 15. And the answer there would be 150. And we can see that my answer is 150, but I want it to be 126. So my guess is too high. I can use the fact that my guess is too high to help me guess again. So we'll pick a different number. 10 was too high, so we'll just make another guess. Let's just guess 5 this time. Once again, if the first number is 5, the second number would be 10 plus 5, 5 plus 5, which is 10. And the product of my two numbers, 5 times 10, well, that's 50. And it looks like this time I am way too low. So my first guess was too high, my second guess was too low. So now, where should I guess again? Hopefully you're thinking somewhere in the middle. Let's pick a number somewhere in the middle there. And you know what? Let's try the number 7 this time. Go ahead and pause your video and fill out the rest of this table. For the guess of 7. It looks like the guess of 7 resulted in a product of 84, which is still too low. So let's try one more guess. Hopefully we'll get it right this time. Let's guess 9. Now let's get my second number, 9 plus 5, which is 14. And now when I multiply 9 times 14, it looks like I get 126, which is exactly what I was looking for. So now we're correct. It looks like my two numbers are 9 and 14. And remember that we should always end in a sentence. And the sentence should answer the question that we were trying to answer. So the question was to find the two numbers, so our sentence could be the numbers are 9 and 14. And our guess and check table is complete. Now, a few things about guess and check tables to make sure they're complete. The things you want to remember are that your columns should be labeled all the way across. You should end in a complete sentence. And it's important that you have at least a few guesses here. So if you get it right on the first guess, you may want to try 1 or 2 more guesses. It sounds silly, why would you try more guesses if you got it right the first time? But the reason is eventually we're going to apply these guess and check tables to further knowledge to try to make equations, and it's going to be important to find the patterns. All right, let's take a look at one more together, and then I'll give you one to try on your own for class tomorrow. This one is a perimeter question, and it says that the perimeter of a triangle is 47 inches. The first side is twice the length of the second side. The third side is 7 more than the length of the second side. What is the length of each side? So it looks like the thing we know is 47 inches. That's what they tell us, so that's going to be our check. And 47 inches is talking about the perimeter of this triangle. So that will be the thing that we'll be checking. And it looks like we're talking about 3 sides here. Now it's important to figure out which side do I want to guess. Now looking at the information, it says the first side is twice the length of the second side. The first side requires the second side to figure out because it's going to be twice that one. The third side also requires the second side to figure out. So it looks like it would be nice to guess the second side because from the second side I could get the first and the third sides. So we'll guess the second side and we'll use that to help us go from there. Let's make our first guess, and in this case, I don't know, let's guess 12 for our second side. Now remember it said the first side was twice the length of the second side, so let's take 2 times 12 and get 24 for the first side. The third side is 7 more than the second side, so we have to go back to the 12 and add 7 to it to get the third side, and we get a total of 19. So now we'd want to find the perimeter. Let's go ahead and add them together. 12 plus 24 plus 19. And when I add those together, it looks like I get a total of 55 inches. And I want 47 inches, so we guessed too high. Let's go ahead and guess again. Let's guess 10. If the second side is 10, the first side is twice that. So it looks like the first side will be 20. And the third side is 7 more than that 10, so we get a total of 17. And to find the perimeter, I add those 3 numbers together, the 3 side lengths. And it looks like we got a total of 47, which is correct. That's exactly what we were looking for on 2 tries. We got the correct answer. Now remember, we like to write our answer in a complete sentence, so we'll go ahead and write out the sentence. Now the question was, what is the length of each side? So we can say the sides are 10 inches, 20 inches, and 17 inches. So once again, taking a look, we had columns labeled, we answered in a complete sentence, so our guess and check table is complete. Here's the last one, and I'd like you to try this one on your own, and you'll bring this to class with you tomorrow. So the question states the sum of the ages of Peggy and Elizabeth are 98 years. Elizabeth is 14 years younger than Peggy. How old is each person? So go ahead and I'll just help you start to fill in the table. I'll give you a couple hints. One hint here is that 98 is your check. And also you should maybe start guessing with Peggy and then go from there. So go ahead, fill in the rest of your table and try to complete your answer. Don't forget your complete sentence in the end, and bring this to class with you tomorrow, and that's what we'll start with in class.